Welcome back to What My Dad Does. Today I'm cutting a hole through a solid internal block wall. How are we going to do that? Let's take a look and find out. So here we are, we've got a solid block wall. It's lightweight blocks, it's not load bearing. First thing to say really, if you're cutting any holes through walls, if you're not sure if it's load bearing or not, then you really need to get an engineer involved or speak to a builder or speak to somebody who knows what they're doing. The last thing you want is your house coming down, obviously. I know this is not load bearing, I've checked it out. I can tell it's lightweight blocks, I've had a little investigation. And the first thing I've done is mark out my door frame. So what I've done, I've taken the width of my door and I've added on either side for the thickness of the frame, normally 32 millimeters. And then I've given it an extra 10 millimeters either side and marked that on here. I don't know if you can see that, but I've marked it on here as my cutout size. Height-wise, I've done the height of the frame plus the thickness of the frame plus about 20 millimeters before I get to my lintel. I hope you can see that up there. I've tried to scribble it in to make it a bit darker for you. My lintel is 65mm thick, so I'm going to give it 100mm so I get some mortar, a decent mortar bed underneath and above, rather than leaving it too tight and then you can't pack the mortar in between. So 20mm should be enough. I should be able to get a tool in there to push the mortar right into the middle and make sure it's a solid bed either side and across the top. And just make sure on the width as well, you just give it 10mm on the width. The last thing you want to do is cut it all, get it all ready, get the lintel up there and you can't get it in. It's a waste of energy and time. So I'm going to cut this out. I'm going to use a reciprocating saw to cut this, which should cut through these lightweight blocks okay, rather than use a circular saw because obviously that causes a lot more dust. So I much prefer to use a reciprocating saw with the proper blade if you can, and we'll see how that goes. The eagle-eyed amongst you will notice that there is a socket down there. I've had a little look, I can see it comes up from below, so I'm not going to cut through it. I've even had a little look above and I can see it doesn't go above. I'm going to turn the power off anyway, and I should be able to cut that out without affecting that too much, and then we'll sort that out later. So first thing I'm going to do is cut that lintel shape up there, get the lintel in, get it mortared, get it packed up, and then I'm going to cut my sides. By the way, I'm not going to use any support for this. The blocks along the top is probably just one row of blocks. They're pinned in. Not only that, they're plastered over, so it's all held there, and that should hold fine. I've got the benefit of experience doing this a number of times, and it should be okay. If it was obviously a load-bearing wall, you would have to support this, and you'd need an acro with some strong boy supports going through the wall to take the weight of above. So you'll cut a slot, put the strong bow through either side, and then cut that out below. I'm not bothering with that, I don't need to do that, so I'm just going to get out and cut that slot, fit my lintel, and then I'll come back. So there you go, that's cut out, the lintel's in place. Now I'm going to mortar obviously along the top and underneath either supporting bit. I'll probably let that dry and then I'll probably cut this out tomorrow and take it away. But let's get the mortar done and then that can be setting off. And so that's it. It's not pretty, but we're not in the business of pretty here, we're in the business of structure, and the most important thing with that is that it is sound. And this should be, because we've got the correct overhang, it's properly packed. I really pushed that home, both sides, this side and the other side. The mortar mix, by the way, was 3 and 1. So 3 scoops of sand, 1 scoop of cement. You know, you want it strong. You don't want it too wet either. You want it fairly dry because you're packing, not pushing into. So that's it. Tomorrow I will cut the sides out once that's gone off. And yeah, I'll show you that as well. So maybe I'll do a side swipe or something tomorrow morning. Okay, so by the miracle of the swipe, we are now next morning. This has gone off. So I'm going to cut this out. What I'm going to do, I'll probably cut down and then knock that bit out, then cut down, knock that bit out, etc., etc. What I don't want is cut the whole thing out and have a whole great big section of wall standing there that can fall over. So I'll do it bit by bit. I'll try and do a hyperlapse so you can see it as it goes. And yeah, hopefully pretty soon we'll be seeing the next room. And so that's it. There we have our hole through the wall. The only other thing to note is there's a timber plate on the bottom there. That is fairly standard on these masonry walls. It just helps spread the load, gives them a flat surface to work off, I guess, as well. I'll just cut that out with a handsaw afterwards. And obviously I've got the electrics to deal with. You probably won't have that, but I'll sort that out afterwards. The next thing to do is to put the door lining in. So I'll do a separate video for that. If you want to watch that, you should be able to find that on my channel page. Hope that helps, and I'll see you on the next one.